Oh, yes. It's Brady.
Caw.
And Levi.
Levi.
Do the bird noise.
Caw.
Caw.
Nerdish.
It's nerdish with a 3, not nerdish with an E. Why?
8 to 9:30 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yes, because nerdish with an E was taken.
And that's why we do it 8 to 9:30 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Thank you for giving that reason for a question that I didn't ask.
That's sort of like the way we eliminate answers on the reading section.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess the other sections to a certain extent.
I think it's important when doing a rap to listen to the beat that's happening in your ear. Otherwise, you have a problem staying on beat.
Correct. We do the ACT and SAT, they're standardized tests to help you get into college.
We don't tutor rap. We shouldn't ever do that.
No, we're not pretending to be tutors of rap, even though we're really good. Sometimes you can be really good at something, but not be a good teacher. Case in point.
Point in case.
Point in case word.
Point in case something bad happens.
Like this?
Yes.
I think we're enriching your lives by you watching this.
I'm getting a phone call from a friend. Do you think I should pick it up now?
The phone call just was dropped. Maybe he'll leave you a voicemail.
Next time, I'll pick it up during the stream. That way we can all talk to my friend Steve.
If you think this is not very high quality, don't worry. We're gonna do it again in 2 weeks.
Also, we're much better quality when we're teaching you all the things in a number tree.
Like prime factorization?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
You break a number down into its prime parts until you can't break it down
We
anymore.
can probably do that right now.
Yeah, we might.
Okay, so let's say 32.
I was going to say 30. That's so close.
Oh my gosh.
All right, break it up.
Okay,
Any way you want. 2 and 16.
Okay, 2 and 16.
2 and 16. 16 is 4 and 4.
Okay, 4 and 4. Oh,
And
interesting.
each
So
4
16
is
a perfect
2,
square.
2. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, 2 and 2 and 2 and 2.
So it's 2 to the 5th.
Yeah, it's 2 to the 5th.
2 to the 5th, exactly.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
You see that? It's that quick. Now you know. Think about that for our whole show.
Now stop watching the stream because you've learned everything necessary.
Bum, 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 bum. We're in a box. You can help us by asking us questions in the hope that someday we can escape. Okay, we are on. Welcome to Nerdish. I'm Brady. Who are you?
That's right. He's we're going to talk about rates today, and Levi is going to talk about
Purpose questions.
purpose questions on the reading section. Hey, there's an ACT coming up, isn't there?
Yes, Saturday.
Saturday. We got to do a cram session tomorrow. Do you forget about that?
Yes,
Can you not make it?
I could feasibly.
You forgot about that.
Can we talk about it later?
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. Eric TLT, how are you?
Hey,
It's good to see you back on the winning team. Okay. Levi. All right. So a rate is a ratio between two quantities.
Where are we going to 10:30 tonight?
Tonight?
Yeah.
Oh no, tonight's normal.
Okay.
I thought we just do Fridays as our cram sessions now. Right?
Yeah, let's talk about it later.
Okay. We're gonna do what we used to do, which is an entire week of cram set. What are you looking at? What? What?
You have food on your face.
What kind of food?
Brown.
I haven't eaten anything in a while. Where?
Your left cheek.
This?
No.
Where? Here?
Yes.
Right there?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I've had sauce on my face the whole time? I taught kids in a classroom with sauce on my face. You
Yeah,
should've
it's much
said-
better now.
Oh, gosh.
I'm sorry I didn't say anything earlier.
Well, it's too late now.
Oh no! Oh no!
Hello, ho, no. How are you?
How are you?
How are
Oh,
you?
no.
So
You
excited
look
to
so
see you.
nice.
Mm.
Trust
Hey!
funds. Thank you for we saw that you followed earlier today.
Do we see that?
I did.
Oh, then why didn't you
Yes.
say I saw it?
Because we are a unit.
I got it. That's nerdish. You know why? Because we
Is that
are
my fault?
sponsored by Tide Bond Original Wood Glue because Levi and I have
A
a
Tide
Tide
Bond.
Bond. I've had too good of a day to let that bother me.
We doubt it, oh no. We doubt it.
Your day's about to get
There are 7
better.
more hours in the day. Many things can happen.
Yes.
Is anybody taking the ACT on Saturday?
Yeah. Anyone? Bueller? Bueller. I'm going to give you guys an example of some rates here.
This is literally what we use this glue for.
What?
Is
For our sponsor? That are not our
our
sponsor?
non-existent sponsor.
Even though we have a real sponsor?
Yes.
Good question. Very good. Very good. All right. Here's what we're doing, guys. These are all examples of rates. Ratio between two quantities. 6 miles per hour. This is called a unit rate. It's called a unit rate because it is per 1 hour. Okay? For every hour, we're going 6 miles. If it was like 6 miles per 3 hours, that would be not a unit rate because it's not 1 unit. We want one of these has to be 1 unit. Okay? Unit rate. We like unit rates. They're helpful to understand. They're easy. $5 per pound. If we're talking about like chicken or something like that, or as someone in high school used to say, chicken. They used to say that a lot. It was very fun.
What?
Chicken. They'd say chicken like that.
That's really
He's a real person. Yeah, okay. And the important thing to know is that per means something. It does. Per means something. Per means divide. Okay? It means division. All right, so let's talk about 6 miles per hour. That's 6 miles divided by 1 hour. Where does that come from? Let's figure this out. A very important equation that you have to know because it comes up a lot is velocity. Velocity is distance over time. All right? Distance over time. So let's calculate a velocity here. Let's say that we went 60 miles in 3 hours. What we do is we take our distance divided by our time, and we divide 60 by 30, we get 20. So this is going to be 20 miles per hour. Okay? It's just a simplified version of that. And it's a lot easier to understand rather than 60 miles for every 3 hours. That's not, I mean, yeah, we get it, but like 20 miles for every 1 hour is a lot simpler and more useful. Okay? So that's what we solve for velocity. But we can move this equation around and we can solve it for the other variables, which might come in handy if we're doing other problems where we know the velocity and the distance, but we don't know the time. Or we know the velocity and the time, but we don't know the distance. All right? So let's solve this thing for d. Let's see what we get. If I want to solve this thing for d, right now we're dividing by t. We don't like that. We got to get rid of that. So we have to do the opposite, which is multiply by t. Multiply by t on both sides. We're going to get, so that's going to cross out right there. We're going to get d is equal to v times t. I'm going to write that up here. d is equal to v times t. All right? If I want to solve this thing for t, right now it's being divided by, right now it's being multiplied by v, so we have to divide it by v. So t is going to be equal to d divided by v, and then we have our original equation, which is v is equal to d over t. So these three equations here are going to be huge helps in velocity problems. All right? So let's do one. We already did one. We figured out the velocity. If we know the distance, we know the time. So let's do something else. Let's do, let's give you a velocity. Let's give you a distance. And let's say, how long did it take? All right. Gotta let it dry first, though. Eric, TLT, you got questions? You got questions, we got answers. Each answer is going to cost you, though. It's going to cost you one question that you have to pay previously to get the answer.
I don't know how much we're making off that.
We're making questions, man.
That's true.
Yeah. Eric, what's your questions? Put them on Discord. Are they math? Are they English? Are they science? Are they social studies? The study of social. Levi's very social. I study him sometimes at parties. Social studies. It's that easy.
I don't think I'm very social.
I know.
Oh.
Just wanted to, I don't know, give you a shot there. All right, so let's say that we're going 46 miles per hour. That's a respectable speed. It's math from yesterday with Levi. Oh. All right, well, do you want to ask it in the chat there, or you want to Discord it? Depends. You just give us what is the best format for you. All right, and let's say we have to cover a distance of 322 miles. The question here is, how long would it take? So you're doing like a little cross-state road trip. You got a couple of friends in the car. You guys put on some music that you all enjoy. Maybe it's Rubber Soul, the album by the Beatles. You guys really like the song In My Life. I don't know. But that's the situation here. How long will it take is a question about time. My day was good because I got proposed to today and was selected for the honors band. And I do have questions I'll put in the Discord. You got promposed. Oh, asked to prom. Okay. I thought it was a typo and you were getting proposed to, which was like, what? But you got promposed today. Okay. Yeah, that's great. So we're looking for t here, so let's use our t equation, because that's the simplest one. It's already in solved for t form. We could use this one, but we still have to solve for t. This one's already done that for us. So t is equal to d over v. So t in this case would be our distance, which is 322 miles, divided by our velocity, which is 46. All right? Let's simplify this. These are both even, so that's 150 plus 11, which is going to be 161 over 23. That's not divisible. Okay, I'm going to have to divide now with the calculator. Let's turn this guy on. You filled us up with gasoline earlier today?
7.
161 divided by... Really?
7. Yep.
It's a nice number?
Yep.
I don't believe you.
Okay.
It's 7. You're right.
Oh, it's 7.
Oh, yeah, you should have gotten
No, I
that.
said 7. I'm sorry.
7.
Yeah.
7 hours. All right? Time, distance divided by velocity. All right, great. I'm going to make sure that that's connected there. New situation. Let's see, we're traveling at 500 miles per hour because you're in like a plane, something like that. Hey, and you're going for 20 minutes. How long? Sorry, how far? This is a distance question. We have the speed or the velocity. We have the time. We don't have the distance. So we have to use our distance equation here. Distance is equal to velocity times time. Velocity is 500, and our time is 20. I'm kidding. Hold on a second. 20 minutes. We're using miles per hour. We can't use minutes in there because the formulas will get confused. We have to use the same units throughout, otherwise these formulas will not work. So we want to multiply by a time, but we want it to be in terms of hours. So we're going to have to convert 20 minutes into hours. All right? I know that 20 minutes is a third of an hour, so it's a third. That's what it is. But to figure that out here, we want to do a little unit conversion. So we have 20 minutes, put that over 1. We multiply by a unit conversion factor. That's a lot of words. By unit conversion, where we put minutes on the bottom because we want the minutes to cancel out. So we have 60 minutes on the bottom, 1 hour on the top, which means our minutes cancel, and we get 20 times 1 over 1 times 60, which is 20 over 60, which is 1/3. So that's what we want to use here for our time, 1/3. So 500 times 1/3, which is going to be, I believe, 166.6 repeating, because that's 1 2/3, so that would be 3 6. Yes, exactly. And that's in terms of miles. All right, very good, very good. Let's use some different rates now. We're not going to do speed. Ooh, I want to put some questions in there. Levi, do we want to do those questions first? Should I keep going?
Keep going for now.
All right.
Oh no, we will get to your questions between Brady's stuff and my stuff.
I don't like this. This thing never.
Bert, it's voice activated.
You're voice activated.
That's actually true for the most part.
Yeah. The way that you wake up is I scream at you and you wake up.
I've been meaning to talk to you about that. It's an incredibly stressful way to exit my slumber.
Well, you're voice activated. What do you want me to do?
Well, you don't have to scream.
Okay, what's the alternative?
Oh, that's a good point. No, I guess, yeah, carry on.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Don't do that yet.
This smells.
Yeah, it's got vinegar in it.
Yeah.
Got some
My
baking
mom
soda?
drank vinegar when I saw her the other day.
What?
She like put some vinegar in apple juice.
Why?
She drank it.
What's the point?
I asked her, "What's the point?" She said, "It tastes good."
Ew.
I said, Mom, I actually know nothing about vinegar. Is vinegar alcohol?
No.
No, it's not. So
No.
she's just drinking a cleaning product.
You put it. I think you use it in cooking. I'm not really a.
Yeah, there's apple cider vinegar, right? That's a thing.
I think so. Raspberry vinegar, vinaigrette. Does that have vinegar in it?
I don't
I
know.
think a vinaigrette probably has vinegar in it. Maybe. All right. Well, whatever. Okay.
So those are some nice velocity problems. Speed and velocity are almost interchangeable, but velocity in physics has a direction as well. So 5 meters per second, that's speed. 5 meters per second to the west is a velocity. Let's do some work rate problems. So we started off with saying that V is equal to D over T. We're going to make that more general now. Okay, instead of velocity, we're just going to say rate. Rate is equal to distance over time. Okay? So,
It's a classic example of painters. Let's say there's one painter. We'll start it with something simple. Okay? So a painter takes 3 hours to paint a room. Okay? Let's say how many rooms will he paint in 20 hours? So we're not going anywhere, all right?
it's not a distance per se, but with distance here, you want to think of it more in terms of progress. The distance he goes is like how many rooms he's painted. So let's first talk about this rate we have. The painter takes 3 hours to paint a room. With your rate is always progress over time or distance over time. So in this case, it would be rooms that he's able to paint. So his rate, we have 3 hours to paint a room. So we have 1 room per 3 hours. That's not our usual unit rate because right now it's per 3 hours. So we have to think about what is that in per hour. And that's just 1 divided by 3. So 1/3 of a room per hour would be the rate. All right? So now the question is, how many rooms will we paint in 20 hours? We have the rate, great. This question is about distance. It's about his progress. So let's use the D equation where we have to solve this for D by multiplying both sides by T. So D equals RT. The distance he's going to go is going to be his rate, which is 1/3, times the time, which is 20, which is going to be 20 over 3, which is 6.6 repeating. Yes. Yes. 6 2/3, exactly. Okay? So it works with work. You just have to make sure that your rate is right, or that your right is rate, and that you're feeling right as rain when the rain's rate is rain. Okay, now we'll get to the complicated stuff. This is when there's multiple people working. These are like classic, difficult logic. Not logic, they're math questions, but if you don't know how to set them up, they'll tie your brain in knots. You don't want that. Okay, that's still pretty wet. I can't believe I had chicken sauce all over my face today. It's been hours that's been on my face.
Yeah.
Literal hours.
It's not that hard. It's not that easy to see, though. I think it's because of the very white lights on us.
You know what the most embarrassing thing ever with my face was?
What?
So I was tutoring a kid, and I met him at a Starbucks. And that morning, I woke up, and I had a pretty big zit. And so what I do is I put toothpaste on them. Because if you put toothpaste on a zit, the toothpaste somehow draws the moisture out and, like, dries out the zit.
It's not actually true.
No. I mean, I don't know exactly the mechanism, but I swear by that in high school.
No, it doesn't. It's not actually true.
Well, it worked for me.
No, it just gets dry.
Well, yeah, and then it like falls off. It pulls out the oil. There's oil in there.
If you look it up,
Yeah?
there will be a lot of stuff that says it's not actually true.
That it doesn't work that way, or that it doesn't work in general?
Ono agrees with me.
I put it only on the actual zit.
Wait, are you saying that you would put it on your face and you'd grow a zit underneath it?
You're an idiot.
Oh, okay. It's a great way to cultivate zits.
Yeah, yes, it is. Well, Hono, at least you're saying low key, so it's not that bad. Except you said that's so bad for your skin. I don't put it. I put it in very small amounts. I use a Q-tip to apply it directly on top of the zit, so it's not like I'm just spreading toothpaste on my face. And maybe what you're saying is that what I'm doing is still bad.
It's definitely what she's saying.
It worked.
Maybe it didn't.
How are you saying that? It was me. I saw the progress.
How do you know you saw change? You don't know the toothpaste did it.
No, I do. I know how long zits take to go away. When I did this, it would expedite the process. I mean, look, I don't care what you say. I experienced that. Anyway, so during the morning, I put it on my face and I said, I'm seeing this kid in the early afternoon.
Just finish the story.
Well, I mean, so can acne. Anyway, so I thought I'm going to take this stuff off before I go see this kid. And I didn't. I forgot. So I drive to Starbucks and I see the kid and I've got this white piece of toothpaste on my face. And then I get back in my car afterward and look in the rearview mirror and I see it. And I immediately text him with an explanation. Because, like, I'm sure he was like, what is that? Like, why is it so prominent? Why is it so...
Did you yell at him for not telling you?
No.
That's what I would have done.
No, that makes no sense. Oh. Well, you know, the toothpaste thing works for me. So I don't care what you
Are you mad
say.
at Hono right now?
Well, I mean, I don't do it anymore because I don't have to. So, like, the problem's gone. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Okay. Look, man, I had a great time with it.
I'm not judging you. I just think it's really funny. I'm not laughing at you. Like, I've done it before, too, until I was told that it's not actually legit.
By who? You? While you were streaming?
No.
Okay. Tim takes 1.5 hours to mow the lawn. Linda takes 2 hours to mow the lawn. The question is, how long if working together? Working together, they will finish it faster than each of them would do alone. Okay? If it takes you 1.5 hours and someone's working with you, it's going to take you less than that. So you don't just add these things together. That's not what's going to happen here. All right? Here's what we have to do. Rate is distance over time. What are we asked about here? Is it a rate, is it a distance, or is it time that they want us to find? How long will it take to mow the lawn if working together? That's a time question. Let's solve this thing for time. We multiply by time over here and then divide by rate. Time is equal to distance over rate. Okay? The question here is how long does it take to mow one lawn? So our distance is 1. The thing, though, is our rate. That's the hard part. Is each of them have their own rates, and what do we do with those rates? Let's figure out what their rates are first. Okay? So for Tim, rates distance over time, he can mow one lawn in 1.5 hours. One lawn per 1.4 hours, 1.5 hours. So we simplify that, that's 2/3 of a lawn per hour. 2/3 of a lawn per hour. Linda, distance over time, one lawn in 2 hours. Are you looking it up, Levi?
I can.
Well, I prefer you did.
Okay.
So that's one of
Should I not? You don't want me to?
I'm going to look it up later.
Okay.
Because I want to make sure I'm right, which I know I am. 1.5 lawns per hour. So now that you have the rates per hour, you add the rates together. So the rate that is total is going to be rate 1 plus rate 2, which is going to be equal to 2/3 of a lawn plus 1/2 of a lawn per hour, which is going to be, this turns into 4/6 plus 3/6 7/6 lawns per hour. That is their rate. 7/6 lawns per hour. So now we have our rate. 1 divided by that. 7/6. 1 divided by 7/6 is going to give us 6/7 hours. It's going to take them a little bit less than 1 hour to do this thing, because they can mow an entire lawn. I'm sorry, they can do more than 1 lawn in 1 hour. So they do 7/6 of a lawn, which is 1 1/6 lawns per hour. So just to do 1 lawn, it's going to be pulled back a little bit. It's going to be a little bit less than that. It's going to be 6/7 hours for that lawn. All right. Fun questions. Levi, should I do one more?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I like the enthusiasm.
Yes.
Yeah, shoot. Well, whatever. Let's go with that. Okay. Absolutely. Very good. Very good. Silence creeps across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. What is it? Oh, that's Thriller.
Take the mash.
That's about
Did the monster mash.
The Monster Mash. It was a graveyard smash. One more problem. Here it is. Here it is. All right. We got a tank of water. Tank. Great. We got 2 pumps. We've got pump A. And we got pump B. Here we go. Great. Here's the stats. Okay. Pump A alone takes 6 hours to fill the tank. And then pump B alone takes 8 hours to fill the tank. The question is, oh, this is great. We want to use 3 pumps, A, B, and another pump C, to fill the tank in 2 hours. Okay, so here we go. Using 3 pumps. A, B, C, to fill tank in 2 hours. So the question is, C takes how long to fill it alone? Levi, I like this problem a lot.
Do you?
I do. I do very much. Okay. So, let's start with our old rate is distance over time. This first part, they're using 3 pumps to fill the tank in 2 hours. Let's think about that. We know our distance. That's a 1 tank. 1 tank, we know our time, 2 hours. All right, so 1 tank in 2 hours. Divide that, you get 1/2. 1/2 of a tank per hour. And this is using A, B, and C. So the total rate of A, B, and C needs to be 1/2. All right? Now that's going to be rate of A plus rate of B plus rate of C. Let's figure those out. So rate of A, rate is distance over time. So in this case, we're filling up one tank, and it's taking A 6 hours to fill it. Pump B is filling up one tank, and it's going to take 8 hours to fill it. So 1/6 of the tank per hour, 1/8 of the tank per hour, and then C, we don't know. So right here, we can fill in some of these values. Rate A is 1/6. Rate B is 1/8. Rate C, we're just going to call rate C. We've got to solve for that. And this is equal to 1/2. All right. This is 1/8. Yeah, it's 1/8. Okay, so
24, my lord.
absolutely not. If we solve this thing for rate C, we have to subtract these two things over. So it's going to be 1/2 minus 1/6 minus 1/8. We can put these all in terms of, let's think about this.
24, my lord.
Oh, is that what you're saying?
Yes, my lord.
Oh, okay, 24 is the denominator here. Yes, the common denominator will be 24. Yes. All right, so this would be 12 over 24 minus 4 over 24 minus 3 over 24. That's 12 minus 7, which is 5. So that's 5 out of 24. So the rate of C needs to be 5 out of 24. Okay, we're not done yet, though, because it's saying how long does it take it to fill it alone. We have the rate. They're asking us for the time. One tank, one rate. What is the time? Solve this for T. We get D divided by R. That's one tank divided by 5/24 of a tank per hour, which is going to give us, it's going to flip it, 24 over 5, which is 4.8. 4.8 hours. That's how long tank C is going to need to do it. Eric, I've noticed that you are figuring out how long it takes the progress to be made, but the question is not what is that rate. The question is, at that rate, how long is it going to take to finish the job? So at that point, you've got to use this equation here. Time is distance over rate. Your distance is the full job, which is one tank, one lawn that you're mowing. That's why we have one on top. You put your rate on the bottom, and it flips it. So you end up with 24 over 5, not 5 over 24. Let me know if that makes sense, or if it doesn't make sense. Or either. Just let me know. 4.8 hours. Love tanks, man. Big tank guy.
You done?
Yeah.
Or can I start erasing some piece of it so I can write Hono's question?
I'm done.
Hey, Hono, are you here on the stream? Can we start your questions?
Hono, are you here? Please let us know. Hono is here.
Hono's here? Very good. Did you start new markers for yourself?
Am I what?
Never mind.
I'm just slowly ruining all
Is
the
that
markers.
blue new?
It might be.
Tell me.
Don't tell me one. I didn't open anything. I've just been using the markers in the box. There we go. Good, Eric TLT. I'm glad. I'm glad.
And my sword.
And my shield. And my axe.
And my yellow marker.
And my bow. Wait, someone doesn't say and my shield.
No, no one
That's
says
not a
that.
weapon.
No. Well, it's go. You can use it as a shield. Captain America. Shield is a weapon.
Really?
Right? He always says that. He goes.
Yep. That's true. But I don't think Captain America is in Lord of the Rings.
That's valid.
Captain America is really anything in Lord of the Rings.
Okay. So we got. Oh wait, no, we're
What?
doing number 8.
Do you think Fellowship of the Ring is supposed to represent like a melting pot?
No.
Okay.
Let's just draw the first quadrant. That's what we care about here. That's not that nice. I should probably redraw that. You'll be fine. Okay. This point here is 2, 2. Point A is 2, 2. And we are asked what angle AOB is. This being B, this being O. So this angle. Let's call it theta. And the answer choices are 60, 45, 4, and 3. Oh, sorry. The measure of angle AOB equals pi over A. And we want to know what A equals. That's the situation here. So, don't forget that circle stuff and angle stuff is always dealing with triangles. You can always figure stuff out with triangles. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to draw in a line like that and give ourselves a right triangle. And because we know that point, we actually know the dimensions of the triangle. This is going to be 2, right? Because this point A is 2, 2. And then this side here will also be 2. So now we just have a triangle. There we go. It looks like this, 2, 2. This is an isosceles right triangle, which means that this is going to be the same size as this. They're both 45 degrees. Now, the question gives us the measure of this angle in radians, so we have to convert to radians. So converting to radians, we do 45 degrees times pi over 180. That's the conversion factor, right? Pi radians is the same thing as 180 degrees because 2 pi radians is all the way around the circle, 360 degrees is all the way around the circle. Let me know if that makes sense, Hono and Eric and everybody else. And then here we just multiply. So 45 over 180 is 1/4. So we just get 1/4 pi, which is the same thing as pi over 4. So therefore A equals 4. Questions on this? This is a very simplistic way of doing it. I'm not saying that these are easy questions. I think trig questions on the SAT are hard. They're almost always hard, unless it's, question 1. But they're definitely hard if you're not comfortable with trig in general. With this, we want to draw in triangles. They give you circles. Remember, we don't understand circles super well. There aren't that many rules about them. You know you want to draw in radii, right? Which is what we already have. We made a triangle. How do you know the sides are 2? Just because the point. Yes, exactly. The x-coordinate is 2, so that means if we drew this line straight down to a right angle, then this would have to be 2. And this is also 2. This pi over 180 comes from, in a circle, right, going all the way around, you have 360 degrees. You also have 2 pi radians. So you have to know radians for this question. So 2 pi radians equals 360. That means that 180 degrees equals pi radians. So that's our conversion factor here. This is similar to what Brady was doing before when he was trying to change units. I think were you changing any units today, Bert?
I did a little bit of that.
You did a little bit of that. Okay. Does this make sense? Does that make sense, Hona? When you are given a point, that will tell you the dimensions of your triangle if you're given a point on a circle. Because then you just draw a line down, your x-coordinate is your x direction length. Okay, good. So let's do the next one. I'll leave this one up here. Okay, so we got a little bit more going on in this one. So the angle measure is 2 pi over 3. 2 pi over 3 radians. Okay? And angle x measures that. What is cosine of x? So we are looking for cosine of 2 pi over 3. They also give us the point -1/2 rad 3 over 2. So this point up here is -1/2 rad 3 over 2. Okay, so there are a couple ways to do this. They gave us extra information. If you know what cosine of 2 pi over 3 is, you're done. Because if you, so Hono and Eric, do either of you know the unit circle? If you don't, you are still capable of getting all the trig questions right, but it's really hard. Would you agree with that statement, Bird?
Yes.
No. Okay. So the unit circle is not something that I can explain to you acceptably in a short amount of time. I would recommend looking it up on Khan Academy. It's basically some major reference angles. So it helps you. It's just a way to memorize cosine of sine, cosine, and tangent of 0 degrees, 30 degrees, 60 degrees, 30, 45, 60 degrees, 90 degrees. It's just the main angle measures and their corresponding sine, cosine, and tangent stuff. Yeah, post a pic in Discord. That would be great. And Hona, you can take a look at that. So that's by far the quickest way to do this problem. But let's say that you don't know that. We're going to draw a triangle again. So I'll do blue again. Yeah, I'll do blue. I'm going to draw this in. So we know that this -1/2 is the x value. So this triangle is, let's keep the negative in here because it does matter. So this length is -1/2. This length here is rad 3 over 2. So rad 3 over 2. And we're asked for the cosine of this, right? So this is where it gets messy and why it would be nice and simple and pretty to just know the unit circle. But the cosine of this angle on this circle is the same thing as the cosine of this angle here, but this is just negative, and that actually matters, okay? So we're basically creating a triangle that is not drawn to the correct scale at all. I'm just going to fix that real quick. No, that's still just bad. I'm sorry, Bird. We have this triangle. I'm going to leave the negative on here. That is what changes things with the outcome, okay? So, and also cosine, the unit circle helps you remember in what quadrants you have negative values and positive values for sine, cosine, and tangent. That doesn't really make a lot of sense if you don't know the unit circle, but it is important. I'm assuming this is the no calculator section. Just assuming that. So, we want cosine of this angle that was created by God, or this angle here. So cosine of this angle is the same thing as cosine of, I don't want to say it this way because it's not quite true, but understand that if you're finding the cosine of that bigger angle, it's the same thing as finding this little angle that's left over in this triangle as long as you leave this as a -1/2. Okay? I really don't remember anything from geometry because I took it in 9th grade. Yeah, it's all gone out the window. Are you in pre-calc now? Or pre-calc trig? I know when I was in high school it was pre-calc and trig together, and I learned the college trig. I have no idea what that means, but you're in trig, so at some point you should learn the unit circle. I don't know if, maybe ask your teacher when you're going to learn that, because you should definitely be learning it in trig class. Like that's a big part of trig class, I would think. So we're looking for cosine. Cosine of this angle is adjacent over hypotenuse. Well, we don't know the hypotenuse, so let's do Pythagorean theorem to figure out what it is. You could recognize that this is a special right triangle. It's a 30, 60, 90, but let's not do that. So let's just do, what is it called? Pythagorean theorem. So we have rad 3 over 2 squared plus, let's leave it as -1/2 squared equals c squared. So this is going to be 3/4, and this is going to be 1/4. This is going to be c squared. Oh, that's very nice. This means that c squared equals 1. So c equals 1. So that's 1. So what is the cosine? Cosine is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. So this will equal -1/2 over 1, which is just -1/2. That's why we kept the negative, because it shows up in the answer. There's not a nice way to explain that without using the unit circle and having all those things memorized. But the angle that you've created, if it's more than that 90-degree angle, just take the triangle that's created on this side and leave the this is in the negative direction. So you obviously can't have a negative length, but in this case, leave it as a negative dimension, and then it will show up it might show up in your answer. Does this make sense, Hono? This is very important, for sure. For these questions. Not that this type of question is super common on the SAT. No, shoot. What did I ask? Did I ask, do you have any questions, or did I ask, do you get it? I think I asked, do you have any questions? Bird, do you remember?
What you asked?
Yeah.
Nah.
I don't get anything. Bummer. Okay. So, here's the situation. In these types of problems, you want to create your triangle. That's what you want to do. So you just take whatever point you are, you draw a line to the x-axis. Okay, so if you have this thing here and you're dealing with this angle, then you draw an angle, you draw a line there, and here's your triangle. Okay, if you're dealing with an angle that goes all the way down to here, okay, and they're saying what is the measure of that angle or cosine of that, you draw a line to the x-axis there, and here's the triangle that you're dealing with. Okay, you're always creating a triangle to deal with stuff, and then you can use the point that you're given to give you the dimensions of the sides, and then you're going to be finding the hypotenuse, possibly in this case. If this one asked for the tangent, let's actually do that real quick. So the tangent, I don't need to write tangent. Tangent of 2 pi over 3. If we're doing that, we set up the same thing. So it's 2 pi over 3 to here. That's our line that's created by that angle. We're just going to deal with this triangle here. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So that's just going to be, opposite is rad 3 over 2 over adjacent, which is negative 1/2. So this is the same thing as multiplying by negative 2. So this equals, I hope I'm not off the screen, rad 3 over 2 times negative 2 over 1. That cancels. We just get negative rad 3. You see that? No.
Yeah, if he hasn't seen trig, he just doesn't know what radians are and things like that. He's got to learn some basic stuff.
So Hono, are you comfortable with radians? That's probably step one. If you're not comfortable with radians, then this definitely doesn't make any sense. But if you're good on radians and you're just not comfortable with these picture type of questions, then we can keep talking about this stuff. Let me know. Also, anybody else who has, thank you, Eric. Anybody else who has questions about this or wants me to clarify anything, speak up. Let's do another one of these. So let's say we're going to take the cosine. So Hono and Eric also, you guys know SOHCAHTOA, right? You know the ratios themselves. So if you're given a triangle with all the side lengths and then you're told find tangent of theta, then you can just do it, right? If you can do that, then you can do this too. It's just one step harder. You have to get yourself to the point where you are just finding cosine or just finding tangent of a given angle in a triangle. Actually, Brady, I think I have a different way to explain this that I was never taught that might be sort of interesting. But you have to stop me if it stops making sense. Can you come up here?
Yeah.
Because what I've been saying of just, leave the negative on the dimension doesn't really help anybody. Like, it's a little bit crazy.
That's
what you know what I
I'm
mean.
not good at it.
Sorry? Oh.
So. Think of someone who stunned his to so he has to. So, cut. Do you get that?
Nope. But Sokotoa is the thing, for sure. Yeah. Hono, how do you feel about Sokoto? Do you know that?
Which one are we talking about? 8 or 9?
I'm just going to make up a new one. Right. Okay. So it's there in the memory, and you're just trying to remember why things happen.
You want to do Sokotoa then?
No, I think if you want to write it up there, yeah. He stubbed his toe, so he had to soak.
So
Soak a toe.
Soak a toe.
So, like soak a toe.
Okay. I don't think the problem though is remembering Sokotoa, like
Probably
the
not.
actual
Yeah,
sound of it.
yeah. Oh no, if it is that you don't remember what the ratios are, memorize it. Just memorize it. That's what they are. Yes, very good. Definitely, that positive self-talk is the best thing to do here.
Yes. Or what?
I was being sarcastic.
Oh, I didn't read it.
Yeah.
That's right.
I wanted you to read it.
Oh no, you haven't done it in a while, so you're not terrible at it. It's just rusty.
Yeah. Be more positive about yourself. We're going to have to whip out the voices again. And then you won't like that.
Hello, how no?
Oh no, you need to believe
Hey!
in yourself.
Deviant
Wow.
Geek.
Thank you, Deviant Geek.
That's a lot of money to get on stream.
That's $5.
Yeah.
A long time ago, that was more.
You know what you can get with that? 20 gumballs.
You have a very warm armpit.
Do I?
Yes.
That's because there's a lot of heat coming off of it.
Yes.
And there's an exothermic reaction happening in there. I was bad at it while I was in geometry. Don't know how I pulled off an 80 at the Regents. Well, you were better than you thought. I don't know.
Deviant Geek, do you have questions?
You
Or-
Deviant Geek, we're in debt to you.
We do. Ooh, hi. Will you discuss more complicated problems like calculus or... No.
We only do, at this point, all we do is SAT, ACT related
Yeah.
things. Maybe later we'll branch out. But
Yeah, if this stream gets enough viewers, like, maybe double digits and then maybe triple digits, then maybe we can branch out and do other things, but no.
Right now, this is our bread and this is our butter.
Yeah.
We put them together.
Don667, will you discuss more complicated topics like linear algebra and calculus?
Hey, Deviant. Pleasure having you on the stream. Thank you. Don, do you need help with those problems? Because if so, you should send us a message. We could talk about the options. We got lots of options.
So many options.
Yep.
Okay.
So, Katoa.
What do you want to make
There's
this?
an animation that if they saw it, I think it makes a lot more sense with what happens to sine and cosine as you go around. Because you have to understand that intuition of like, oh, here we go. Woo,
Well, that's with the unit circle.
woo. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's sine, cosine, tangent. Like that's how you memorize, or that's how you see what happens with these angles.
Yeah. I mean, it's sine and cosine and tangent are just ratios. It's just what is the fraction of the opposite side divided by the adjacent or divided by the hypotenuse or something like that. So if this, give me a point here. That would then be the other stuff.
Sure. Okay. So that would be, let's say, -1/2. And negative √3/2.
So that's your point, okay? And we are going to be looking for the value of x. Let's do it in degrees, sure. 5 pi over 4. Sure, try in degrees too. Is it 5 pi over 4? No, it is not 5 pi over 4. So let's make our triangle like that, and let's bring it over here. So this is now our right triangle, and we know that the x value is -1/2, so we're going to leave those negatives in there, okay? If we're not doing unit circle stuff, leave your negatives here. -1/2. And this is negative rad 3 over 2, that's the y value, so that's the y direction dimension. We have negative rad 3 over 2. Now, we are looking for the value of x. Maybe we shouldn't be looking for that. Let's look for the cosine of x. That's what we're looking for. Cosine of x. So, cosine of x would be cosine of that. Yes, Brady?
Yes.
Very good. My stream has a major delay on iPhone. Sorry. Oh, got it. Cool, cool, cool. I don't know why I said cool. That stinks. I'm sorry about that. I don't know if... Yeah, we're fine on our end, it seems. So here, we are doing the cosine of this angle. So it's cosine of all of this x. And if you know, memorize the unit circle, it will help you enormously. For sure. It will help you understand the stuff. It will help you answer the stuff more quickly. So cosine of this would be the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse we don't know. We have to figure it out. If we do Pythagorean Theorem, so I'm not going to solve it, but 1/2 squared plus -1/2. I don't like using the negatives, but it is what it is.
The negatives will cancel themselves out because we're going to be squaring them. This is the unit circle. Levi will figure this out. I mean, he could, but it's going to be 1.
C. Yeah.
The unit circle is called the unit circle because it has a radius of 1 unit. All right. So here's your x-axis. Here's your y-axis. Right here, it's 1, 0. Right here, 0, 1. Right here is -1, 0. And right here is 0, -1.
I would recommend watching, a couple Khan Academy videos on this, because it takes some time and some practice on some stuff.
I think I might understand what the intuition that they're not seeing. Let me see if I figure this out. So, have you talked about why the coordinates of this point are sine cosine?
No, because I wasn't doing the unit circle. I talked about why they're the x and y dimensions of that triangle that you just drew.
Okay, so the question though on number 9 is like which one is the cosine, and the cosine you just have to identify as -1/2 because it's on there already. It's the x coordinate of the point on the circle, right?
Was the question
number 9, right?
I thought it was just asking.
Cosine is number 9 here.
Yeah, well, it says cosine of x, so I solved it by doing this.
But there's no need for that if you understand.
No,
that
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you ever played...
Eric TLT's got great analogies here.
Eric is trying just as hard as we are. So, Hono, I would recommend watching some videos on... I mean... Yeah.
Yes.
Khan Academy videos would be good for this.
Yeah.
It's a lot of memorization. Less than you'd think. I just remember these, and then I just figure out negative, positive.
I remember that there are the 3 hash marks on all of these.
No.
1/2 root 2 over 2 root 3 over 2.
Okay. You don't have to know the unit circle. Do it. But you don't have to, because then you can do this stuff where you make the triangle, but then you're dealing with negative dimensions, and that's messy as all get out.
If it's easier to work in degrees, which for some people it is, because that's what they learned first, and radians never really clicked. Hono, there is a way you'll understand this. It right now you don't see it. It doesn't make sense, but it's once it makes sense, it'll make sense. You'll have an aha moment, and then this will click. But it's going to take a little bit of watching some things that break it down into simpler building blocks, and also reach out to us. We tutor. So we can go at exactly the pace that we and figure out exactly what it is, because it's hard to tell what parts of it are not great for you when all we see is text on a screen. But anyway, that's just what I think.
We're very professional.
Hey,
Wait, they can't even see your hair anyway.
they can see my hair.
I don't think so.
It's dark.
Nobody can see it.
Look at that. Look closely at the screen.
No?
No?
No, you can. If you show him how to convert degrees to radians, that might help.
I feel like there's a lot to talk about with this. You want to talk about purpose questions?
Yeah. We're going to hop to purpose questions. Oh no, you're having a good day, so maybe don't do this tonight. This is not particularly fun stuff to learn for the first time. I would say when you're at prom, you should be studying this stuff.
Correct. Bring a pocket unit circle. Kind of made one.
I remember.
I still have. I can't
Your
remember.
proudest thing. Your proudest.
It's really cool. It's a great learning
You're
tool.
such a nerd.
It's a great learning tool.
We
If they have it in
don't
classrooms,
condone
we don't condone violence. We don't condone violence. We don't do it.
Wow. And violence does not condone us.
No, it does not. It condemns us. We condemn it.
It oppresses us.
It what? Represses or oppresses?
Represses.
Represses us.
Yes.
So it oppresses us once and then it represses us?
Yes.
Got it. Press. Repress. I got you.
No.
Yes. Oh, I looked at the toothpaste thing, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great for you, but occasionally it works. They like caution you. Certain toothpastes are you got to stay away from. Other toothpastes have like the ones that have baking soda in it. It will dry out the zit, and it causes irritation and peeling, which is what you want. You want the thing to peel off.
Yes. Very good. Okay, so purpose questions, right?
Violence.
No, don't condone it. I'm gonna probably. Did we ask Kono a question? What was the question we asked Kono?
I don't know.
Dang it. Okay. Okay, purpose questions. Like you start from 0 and then add 35. Oh, you're answering Eric, not us. That makes more sense. Okay. Yeah, definitely watch those videos, Hono. I would say either really dive in with Eric right now and figure it out, or put it off, watch some videos in not tonight. Tonight is the night for purpose questions and other stuff that you're more familiar with, and you don't have to learn anything totally new today because it'll be frustrating. We could do this next week too. We can go through the basics of it. Well, I'll make Brady do that on Tuesday or something. Okay. We're doing number 4 because it says the sentence in lines 10 through 13 mainly serves to. Okay, so here's the stuff we're looking for. Mainly serves to. That's what we care about seeing. We're looking for that. We're looking for the purpose of this thing is to this. Or the author says this to blank. I remember Drumsy. Very good. I remember Drumsy. Not... Hey, Bird. I can't read that name. What's that name?
Notar Gentfuba.
Notar Gentfuba. Drumsy probably remembers you. That would be my guess. Why do you bring it up? Yes, very good. Okay, purpose questions. That's what we're doing. And so now we're going to do number 4. We can recognize that's what we got to do. And with these questions, they're not asking you what's just, what does the passage say? What does the author think? It's asking why. Okay? Why? That is what we care about with these questions. And it's not as important in the reading section to identify question types. These are both on the SAT and ACT. Time to change your name. Hey, do what's best for you.
Who said that?
Notar Gentfuba.
To who? Us?
Ace, what's up? Whoa.
What's happening?
Ace Chess said something, and then Eric said something, and I can't read it.
What does change your name mean?
Huh?
Why did you say time to change your name?
Probably because our butchered pronunciation of it.
Oh.
Okay, but anyway, we're doing why. That's what we're answering here, okay? So, number one
Asks, over the course of this passage, the narrator's attitude shifts from this to whatever, right? That's what this question is. You understand that. This is a purpose question. Do not get tripped up. They're not asking what do these lines say. It's not saying lines 10 through 13 say this, and let's translate the lines. It's saying these lines mainly serve to what? Not literally say what they're literally exactly saying right there. It's asking why. That's what we're thinking about, okay? So let's go up to the passage. You don't necessarily have to read this passage. So we have 10 through 13. Ignore how messy that is now. So 10 through 13 is right here-ish. Okay. So for years, for a lifetime, the machinery of my destiny has worked in secret to prepare for this moment. Its clockwork has moved exactly toward this time and place, and no other. Okay. I don't know what's going on here, so I'm going to read it one more time. For years, for a lifetime. So something's going on for a long time. Great. The machinery of my destiny has worked in secret. Okay. We're talking about destiny, talking about working in secret. And it's not him. He's not saying, I have planned this all out. He's saying the machinery of my destiny. So predestination. You don't have, these things are predetermined. Things are going to happen for whatever reason. The machinery of my destiny has worked in secret to prepare for this moment. Its clockwork has moved exactly toward... Now, so we have a semicolon, and then it starts saying the same thing again. Okay? Its clockwork has moved exactly toward this time and place and no other. Okay, so why do we say this? This is the passage about the guy whose emotions are complicated. He doesn't know what's going on, trying to figure out his life. Okay? That's what this is about. And he's going on a trip somewhere, as I recall.
He's going to the North Pole.
He's going to the North... Right, it's the North Pole. Very good. So, let's look at the answer choices here. Remember,
we are not looking for the right answer. We are looking for the wrong answers. We are looking for why they said the stuff they said. Why are we talking about the clockwork and the machinery of this dude's destiny? So, he said this stuff mainly to expose a side of these lines serve to expose a side of the narrator that he prefers to keep hidden. Not quite. The hidden part is there, right? These answer choices are put for a reason. Hidden. There was the word secret, but I think the secretness was him saying that this machinery has been working behind my back, not that he's trying to hide it from us as the readers. He's not trying to keep it hidden himself. So I don't like the word prefers. That's not really supported by these lines. Okay. Do these lines mainly serve to demonstrate that the narrator thinks in a methodical and scientific manner? No. So that's this one, the methodical and scientific, great. That's coming from the words clockwork and machinery, right? But that's not quite right either, because it's not how he thinks, it's the machinery of his destiny, which is not his thought processes. So the narrator thinks, I don't like the word thinks, because it's not about him thinking. C, show that the narrator feels himself to be influenced by powerful and independent forces. Okay, I like powerful because it's talking about the machinery of my destiny. That sounds powerful. And the clockwork moving towards this one moment. And it says independent. I also like independent because I'm going to circle both of those. So powerful, and he's influenced by this. That has to do with the predestination, right? So I like influenced, I like powerful, I like independent because it says it's secret, it's kept secret from him. And then D, we have emphasis. And again, I like those things. I'm not choosing that answer because that's not the point when we're going through these questions. No question on the reading section should you be looking for the right answer. You are looking to prove every answer wrong and hopefully just be left with the right answer that you cannot prove wrong, because this is an evidence-based test. So the more that you are Eric or Hono or Ace or anybody else, someone who's actually taking the test, you're going to be looking at this and saying, okay, what do I think is right? No, they're not testing you on what you think is right. They're testing you on what they said. So try to prove things wrong. Why would these be wrong answers? So let's look at D. Emphasize the length of time during which the narrator has prepared for his expedition. Okay. This length of time thing, that is hearkening back to when it says for a lifetime. I think he said for a long time, for a lifetime, something like that. That's that time part. But the temporal part is not enough. That's not why. We still need to answer the question why, not what. All of these things were sort of said. That's not good enough. Emphasize the length of time during which the narrator has prepared for his expedition. No. He is talking about outside forces bringing him to this point over a lifetime. He's not talking about him preparing as his conscious self. So I don't like prepared. And also, I don't really like length of time because that's not the emphasis, right? We're talking about mainly serves to. What do these lines mainly serve to do? Yes, time is a part of it, but that's not the point. Okay? So, the answer would be C. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. Again, I don't care about this question all that much, and neither should you, because you'll never see it again. But the question type is purpose questions. And when you get them, the recognition's got to be, they might ask, what's the purpose? They might also say, they do this to, and then you fill in the blank. Or they say, it mainly serves to, or something like that. Answer the question why, not what. The answer choices will often give you what, not why. In this case, none of these were right, or the 3 of them weren't right. Not so much because they were saying what instead of why, but I have a question for you and Brady. Eric has a question for you and me. Notice how I said Eric has a question for you and me, because Eric is the subject and you, talking about Brady, and me, those are objects. So
Are you calling me an object?
yes, grammatically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. Oh, it's
All right, Eric. Speak your question and we will answer. What is your name? What is your
favorite
quest?
color?
What is your quest?
Right.
And then what is your favorite color? Red.
I don't know.
It's so dumb. It's delightful. Eric, what's your question?
What do you want?
We have things to do on our stream. You got a question for us? Question us. Is it on Discord or is this like a question about just me and Levi?
Oh, what is that? That's a great question. Alta Ipsum is a sponsor. It's our sponsor. Besides, of course, Type on Wood Glue.
Which is not our sponsor.
Alta Ipsum in Latin means summit yourself. Why don't
Summit
you?
yourself in Latin means alta ipsum.
Yes, it does. Which means kind of like get to the top of yourself if you were your own mountain. Climb up to the top. Which means
Yes.
be the best version of yourself that you can.
And then immediately build yourself into a building and self-defenestrate.
Self-defenestrate. That's fantastic.
Auto-defenestrate.
Yes. Alta Ipsum is an app that you can get on your smartphone or your computer, which helps you track your grades, set goals, plan your study schedule.
Continue doing those 3 things simultaneously.
Right. Outsource the stress to the app. The app is designed
Yes.
to take your stress. If you try to think about all the things you have to do and your homework and when you're going to do it, all that stuff, you're going to go insane.
Yes.
You put it into the app tells you when you do things.
Yes, as soon as you get this app, you get something for free.
AZ99092 is back with their new username, and it is a shiny new username. Look at that thing.
So I'm just going to try to pronounce this correctly.
That's straight out of the shop, dude.
Notar Gentifaba.
I think that's it.
I think that's,
that's
the
a
AZ
good
is
name.
the Notar, and then the underscore 9092 is Gentifaba.
Good name. Yeah, anyway, Alta Ipsum is free for the first month. It was free for the previous months as well, but you just weren't using it.
Yes.
So shame on you.
Shame on you, but thank you for the question.
That's a good
fantastic
question.
Always ask questions.
Shoulder
Always ask
isolations.
questions. Neck isolation? I don't know.
In the future, are you guys going to answer random English questions? If they're related to the SAT, ACT, or concepts that are tested on those tests, absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we do English, math, reading, science, all this stuff. That's
we
on the
also
ACT.
prefer to ask questions about questions. This is more of a meta stream type thing.
Yeah.
That probably didn't make sense to you.
Questions about questions.
Yes.
Like, what kind of questions do you like to answer? Is that a
Yeah, and
question?
what kind of answers do you like to hear? Do you like unhelpful, stupid answers?
Because if so, then half the time you're in the right place.
Yes, and the other half of the time you are in the same place. Might be wrong, might be right.
Yes. You know that you're always here?
Hmm?
You know, like, oh, I'm here. You can never not be here.
How do I know if questions are from?
Well, what concepts do they deal with? Like,
you start studying for the SAT and ACT.
yeah, like if they're just like, where does the semicolon go? Like grammatical concepts, they're tested, so we'll answer them. What kind of questions are you thinking about, Ace Chess?
We're not
Ace
going to write
chess,
anything for
Ace
you.
chess,
If
Ace
there's a
chess,
question.
Ace Chess. Sorry, it's the Ace Chess dance.
Bum, 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 bum. Hey, okay, so why don't we? Anybody? Yeah, why don't you just toss them in the Discord and
Oh.
see if we like them?
Just casually let it go into the Discord.
Yeah.
Just ugh, into the
Yeah,
Discord.
more of an underhand toss. Don't overhand is a little bad. No headshots. No.
Discord has a funnel on top of it, so
Right.
you don't
And if
have
we
to
catch
get
it,
it
then we
right.
get
It's
one of
going to
our
just
players
kind of
back
swirl
on
into
our
the
side,
funnel, and
yeah.
then the Discord's
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah. Someone's
Right.
gonna end up crying.
Right.
Oh,
It's
you're
probably, if you put it that way. Right. Hey, you know who bids thee welcome?
My master
sword.
You guys know.
We just lost a viewer.
Yeah, we did. We probably killed them.
They didn't like that.
Can we do number 12 in the nerdish? Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we absolutely should. We were actually talking about that right before you said that.
Yeah.
We have it on tape. You can just rewind it. We
Yeah.
were just saying that.
It's
Pull
on
it
a
up,
tape.
pull it up,
Literal
come on.
tape.
Let's go. Pull it up.
No. Number 12, SAT nerd. No, it's talking about math.
I know.
Pull it up where?
Pull it up on the overlay, dude.
No, we don't. We only have the reading overlay right now.
Well, can we find it then?
No.
What do you mean? We have to do it.
Oh, I'm gonna find it on my computer. Here,
Yeah.
hold this. Hi, my lord.
Will you please find it?
Yes. What's my password again? Oh wait, go this way.
Real? What? Is SAT number 1, right?
No.
Is
Yes.
that the one we already
Yes.
asked you?
Yes.
Yes. Eric TLT. Just wait. Be patient. No cop 12. Let's just say I want to know what absolute phrase means and how to use one in a sentence. Absolute phrase?
It's a type of non-essential thing. It's not essential to the sentence. It's not part of that main independent clause, which is a subject and a verb.
What is it? That's an absolute phrase?
An absolute phrase is it's a phrase that describes a noun, and it's going to be. It's right here. It's right here.
There.
Yeah. Hey, Eric, did you draw this? Like I told you to? Can you give me the stuff and I can draw some stuff?
A line in the xy plane passes through the origin and has a slope of 1/7. Which of the following points lies on the line?
Okay, so it passes through the origin.
Yep, up 1/7, so it's quite
It has a slope
low.
of 7.
No, 1/7.
It has a 1/7 slope of 7.
Okay.
So we're going to go up 1 and over 7.
Nice.
Perfect.
Draw what? Draw.
Draw the darn explain thing in the question.
Is the question that you're asking about a line in the xy plane passes through the origin, ...
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday.
I know, Eric TLT. Oh, see, that's the problem. It's not. What question is it then?
What are you talking about?
What are you saying?
What
we
are you-
don't get it.
And what are you not saying?
Do you
Tell
want
us all
us
the
to
things
get it?
we're not saying. Ace chess. I will tell you. I love my new
Mom.
mom.
Wait, Eric TLT, which question is it then?
Robotic
It is this one?
woman.
Like Plankton's wife, Karen, his computer wife.
Okay, so hey, Ace chess. This is an absolute phrase. Everybody else who's taking the SAT and ACT, don't think about those words. Absolute phrase will not help you in your life. Okay? This is a non-essential. It's an absolute phrase.
Absolutely. No.
Yeah,
Absolute.
absolutely.
So wait, Eric TLT, which question is it? Is it the one we were about to do? Is that the one? Or like, what? Which one is it? We're totally
Deviant Geek,
helpless.
what? I don't know what that little emoji thing is.
I got
was
it. It's
thinking-
deviantgeek.com today
Today.
for you. Yeah, that's
Very
what it
good.
is.
Okay, this is an absolute phrase. It is a non-essential part of the sentence. Here's your main sentence. I love my new mom. And we're going to now describe my new mom with this thing, a robotic woman. This is a phrase that describes a noun. This is a noun. in our sentence. This is also a noun. It's also the subject because it does that verb. Here's your independent clause. Here for everybody else is your non-essential element, offset by a comma. You don't need a second comma because the independent clause is over. Now, if you say, I love my new mom, a robotic woman, more than the old model, then...
Okay, so HS has a good question here. I read a book with 3 chapters. I don't think you'd separate it there.
No, that is not a non-essential because it's a book with 3 chapters. If there's a comma there, then sure, you could say that, but there should not be a comma there.
There's no reason to separate that information
So
from the book.
when you have a preposition, with is a preposition, with, during, as, on, under, above,
Below, between.
below, those things are prepositions. So prepositional phrases with 3 chapters, or I like going to the zoo. You wouldn't say I like going, comma, to the zoo. Right? Those are prepositional phrases. They are not absolute phrases. They are not non-essential elements. They are part, for the purposes of the SAT and ACT, which doesn't help you at all, it's part of the main kernel of the sentence, the main part, the main independent clause stuff. Okay, I'm going to erase this now.
All right, so Eric, it looks like you were asking me about this question. If it goes through the origin and has a slope of 1/7, the equation for this line is y is equal to 1/7 x. I like to read a lot of chapters and a lot of chapter. The thing is, you reading a lot of chapters is all one idea. It's a direct link between the verb and what the verb is acting upon, so you wouldn't actually separate that with a comma. So that would not be an absolute phrase. Levi, keep talking about that. All right, so Eric. All right, so you're saying it's D is 12D, so 14, 2, which is the only points of the line. So x is 14. 1/7 of that would be 2. Yes, that is correct. Very good. 13? Question 13.
Eric's agenda right now is just have us go through the entire test.
Well, 13 is a great one to talk about
13 is very
in
good.
terms of
Yeah.
strategy. Okay.
Strategy, my lord.
Stratagem. Stratagem.
Storm the gates, my lord.
Yes.
All 3.
Put down the...
Drawbridge.
Yes, but then pull up the portcullis. That's the name, portcullis. So what would be an absolute phrase with a sentence reading a book?
I like reading my book. No. Let's see. I am reading a book.
Oh, okay. The book I'm reading, comma, a fancy novel, comma, is written by J.R.R. Tolkien. What exactly is the definition of absolute phrase?
It's a phrase that alters or not alters, modifies a noun.
Okay.
I think.
And it usually takes the form of a non-essential.
Yeah. I don't know how else it would. I think it has to be a non-essential. Or in a positive or whatever.
Oh, okay. Interesting. You probably want to see this again, don't you? Where is it? 4 fingers.
Yeah, you are, Eric. Keep doing it in English. Thank you for following, BMO.
Thank you, BMO. You're very nice. All right, here you go. You mind if I take this one?
Oh, I don't mind at all.
Can you write up
Yes,
the,
x is greater than 3.
Can you write up the answers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you?
Maybe.
Okay. You just start talking.
Okay. So the answers are, the question here is, which of the following answers are equivalent to this thing right here? Okay? A lot of division, a lot of fraction stuff. And the answers are other expressions with x that might be equivalent to this and might not be equivalent. So the book I'm reading, what I said, please repeat, I don't know that much English, is written by Coleman. Okay, so the book I am reading, comma, a fancy novel, comma, is written by Coleman. Eric TLT, what did I call you? What did I call you? What did I call Eric?
I don't know.
What in God's name did I call Eric? Eric, tell me what I called you. I must know.
Call me by your name.
It's a good movie.
For a movie.
That's a good point. Okay. Here's a strategy. There's a lot of algebra that you can do to turn this. If I'm bothering you, but I am English. No, absolutely not. A fantasy novel. Oh, I called Eric a fantasy novel. Trig. Oh, Trig Eric. That's right. I used to call you Trig Eric. I'm sorry. No, Ace Chess, we appreciate your questions. We are glad you are here, and we are glad that you are learning with us. It's very fun to have you on stream.
That was very fun. Also, Ace, Eric TLT just answered you with what you could put in that there, in your sentence. So the book I am reading, comma, a fantasy novel, comma, is written by Coleman.
I don't know why I said fancy, but fantasy is better, because novels being fancy is weird. But yeah, a fantasy novel, that's good. All right, so which of these is equivalent to that? There's a lot of algebra I could do to maneuver these into one of these things, but that might take a while, and there's something I can do that's a little bit easier, which is plug in a number for x. Wow, this marker is not doing well. I'm going to use my blue marker. Here we go. Plug in a value for x. Okay, so apparently x has to be greater than 3. So what is a good value we can plug in for x? We don't want to choose something that's difficult to work with, so the next closest thing we can choose is 4. Let's use 4. It's a nice whole number. It's greater than 3, so it works with their rule. So we're going to say x is equal to 4. All right, if we plug this into that, let's see what we get. 1 over, so this would be 4 plus 2, which is going to be 1/6, plus 1 over 4 plus 3, which is going to be 1/7. Okay, let's keep going with this. So we have 1 over 1/6 plus 1/7. We want to put that in terms of 40 seconds. So this would be 7 over 42 plus 6 over 42, which is going to be equal to 1 divided by, that's going to be 13 over 32. Sorry, 42, okay? Whenever I have this like big number divided by a fraction, I like to rewrite it in terms of horizontal division. So we have 1 divided by 13 over 42. And when you divide, let's see, and when you are dividing by a fraction, you want to flip and multiply by the reciprocal. So this would be equal to 1 times 42 over 13, which is going to be 42 over 13. So bear with me. You plugged in 4 into this expression, it gave us 42 over 13. So whichever one of these is the answer should also give us 42 over 13 if we plug in 4 for x. Rewrite the following sentence to use an absolute. All work must be your own. Use proper spelling grammar. The house was ugly. The house I live in, an inexpensive house, is rented by my parents. Am I right? Okay. The house I live in, an inexpensive house, is rented by my parents. Yeah. Yeah, that's totally fine. An inexpensive house. An expensive house would be the absolute phrase. So let's plug in 4 to go back to this problem for x and see what each of these gets. So we have 2 times 4 plus 5. That's going to be 8 plus 5 over, so this would be 16 plus 20 plus 6. This is going to be 13 over, so that's going to be 22, 13 over 42. Oh, okay, interesting. 13 over 42, but it's not 42 over 13. That's what we need to get. So this is not going to work because it's not equivalent when we put in x equals 4. This next one, we're going to have 16 plus 20 plus 6 over 8 plus 5. Oh, this is the flip version of what we just saw. That is a good sign. 42 over 13. I'm not going to just say, oh, it's B, because something else might give me 42 over 13, so let's just be careful here. 2 times 4 plus 5 is 13. That's not right. 4 squared, so that's 16 plus 20 plus 6 is going to give us 42. The only thing that gives us the same thing is B, so B is going to be the answer. All right. If they are saying descriptive paragraph, do I write a paragraph describing the sentence they gave me? I think they write. I don't think the paragraph describes the sentence because then you'd be writing a lot of sentences about a sentence. I think it just describes something. 14. Trig Eric says 14. Interesting. I'm not sure what 14 applies to, but I like that number a lot.
Number 14.
Number 14. Okay, yeah. You want to figure out what that is? I will show you guys real quick. This is a very good strategy for complex algebraic problems, but there is algebra we could do to turn this into this. So I will just show you what that looks like. Man. There we go. There we go. Okay. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Levi, what's 14 about?
14, my lord, is exponents.
Oh. Is it change of base?
Yep.
You got that one?
I worry that we're just explaining each of these individual problems to Eric, and it's not necessarily.
No one else is asking questions. We've
Okay.
gone over the things that we wanted to say. All right. Fraction. So fraction plus a fraction only works if you have a common denominator. So let's just focus on the bottom here. 1 over x plus 2 plus 1 over x plus 3. They don't have the same denominator here. All right. If you want to multiply, let's say 1/4 and you have 1/5, you want to add them. You want to find the least common multiple of 4 and 5. All right, which in this case would be 20. One thing that you can do is you don't need to have to find the least common multiple. So like 1/2 plus 1/4. You know, you could say the least common multiple is 4, so this is going to be 2/4 plus 1/4. That'd be great. You can always find a denominator that you can use by simply multiplying the denominators together. So I could have said, let's turn these both into eighths. This is going to be 4/8 plus 2/8 is going to be 5/8. That's, no, 6/8. Jeez. How do you write backwards like that? Well, Levi and I took a couple years sabbatical. We went to Nepal and we studied the art of writing backwards with a very specific sect of monks. And then once we gained the power, we came back and we're doing that now.
Don't listen to Brady, and also don't listen to Eric. It's actually, oh, thank you for the cheer. Woo! You love bits. Do you want some bits?
Oh, I'm hungry.
Yeah. Very good.
Thank you for the bits.
Yes, very good.
Yes. Trust fund.
I'm supposed to burp.
No,
Yeah,
no.
it's actually, so we were able to isolate and capture many ghosts that actually bleed multicolored blood. Whoa.
Okay, we'll get to that in a sec. All right, so anyway,
Stab them and...
you multiply denominators together, you'll get a denominator that you can use. That's what we have to do for these two. We have to multiply them by each other. So this bottom one here, we want to multiply this by x plus 3. And this one up here, and this one over here, we have to multiply by x plus 2. We do that, we're going to get x plus 3 over x plus 2 times x plus 3 plus, and this is going to be x plus 2 over x plus 2, x plus 3. Now we can add them. And remember that there's a big fat 1 divided by for all of this. So we add these two things together. Add the numerators. We get 2x plus 5 on the top, and on the bottom we get x plus 2, x plus 3. But remember, it's 1 divided by that. When you see 1 divided by something, it's going to flip everything. That's what it's going to do. All right.
Eric, just like, I know that we don't have to have perfect grammar all the time, but that's the wrong use of your. Just saying.
So it's going to flip it. It's going to turn it into B, okay? But again, if this is something that does not pop into your head, put a number in. It's a great strategy.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Well, it's your welcome. It's not his welcome.
Oh, you're right. You're welcome. It's mine. That's right. I don't know what that means.
Haha,
'Cause
Eric.
It's not with an apostrophe and an E.
Trig Eric.
Ace chess. In this lesson, we focus on using strong.
I read it.
Interesting. Okay. Sorry.
So with this, I think the end is your sentence, reading a book when I read a book. I read 1 to 2 chapters a day. I would just notice where you're putting periods so that the books are, so that the sentences are a little bit more well separated. Thank you, Eric. You know, it is annoying when people always correct grammar and punctuation and spelling, but also that's literally our job.
Yep.
And you don't pay us
Anything.
anything.
Except your eyeballs.
Yes, pay us with your eyeballs.
Slowly harvesting your eyeballs.
Yes.
We're going to open up an eyeball farm.
Do they feel weird? Yours are about halfway out at this point. Another 100-bit cheer. That's
Oh
not
my
good.
god. You've never eaten bits before. You can't handle bits. You haven't built up a
Choked on
tolerance to bits. I've had tolerance for bits for 3 years. 3 years I've had a tolerance for bits.
How many years?
3 years. You don't have a tolerance for bits. Don't just eat bits like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do feel strange.
Yeah, I felt strange when I didn't eat that many bits at once. You just had 100 bits. They literally started me at 3 bits. Every day I had 3 bits for a month.
Yeah, I don't feel so good. I'm going to
Yeah.
hide my belly behind whatever this thing is in the bottom left-hand corner. I'll tip some of yourself, buy it for free.
Ah.
Right?
You guys look like anteaters when you do that L-mow.
Thanks, Hono.
Thank you, Hono. That's what we go for. We want to be like anteaters when we grow up.
Is that what you told your prom date?
Ooh. Someone has a prom date.
Someone else doesn't. Most other people don't.
That's right. Currently in the world, most people don't have
Yes,
prom dates.
we don't have prom dates.
I think my sentence is perfect, though. English is my second language.
So, I would put a comma after the word perfect and then make though, although. And then yes.
I do the same thing.
We'd also agree with you wholeheartedly,
Yes.
full-souledly,
Full-souledly.
entire-spiritedly.
Yes. And, oh, geez, I don't know.
No, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
You covered all the bases there.
In full essence.
You know what we don't? You know what we don't condone?
We don't condone
Violence. We don't. Oh, Levi, the markers went everywhere.
went right there.
The bits are going straight to your brain. I'll say that much. You don't have a tolerance for bits. The prom date thing sounded personal. LOL. My bad.
That's
LOL.
okay.
My sense is the
We
last
just get to
question.
make fun of you for it now. If I read 2 chapters a day, comma, I will finish the book. So that's an if-then statement. Let's do the one that Eric TLT had.
You mean Trig Eric?
Trig Eric.
Look at how much space we have. We have so much space.
Hey Trig Eric, are you here or is this one of the 2% of the times where you're not here?
Good memory. I'd go over here too.
Also, for those of you watching, yeah, I had nothing to say there. I just started talking like that. I don't know why.
Why did you not?
I had nothing to say.
Don't condone violence.
Ow.
Sorry.
3x minus y equals 12.
I love that.
You don't even know what it means.
I know what it means.
Do you?
My parents have given me the talk.
8x over 2, sorry, 8 to the x over 2 to the y equals what? Hey, Eric. Whoa. Hey, Bird.
Huh?
Eric just tipped $4.96.
Hey!
Is that
be fun?
Why was it that much?
That's really fun. It's almost like $5.
It's like $5.
But it's close.
It's actually more than $5.
Because he doesn't want us to buy 20 gumballs. He wants us to buy 19 and then have, we want 21 cents left over. He wants us to have 19 gumballs and, 19 gumballs and 21 cents left over. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
We're very glad you're here.
And we're very glad you're learning.
Eric is here and he's learning. Beep. That's the song to you.
Sponsored by
Alta.
Bond Alta Ipsum.
Alta Bond.
Tight glue Ipsum.
Oh, man. This is apparently the industry standard. But isn't it in their best interest to tell us that? Because then we'll buy it thinking it's the industry standard?
Well, it's their own industry. It's the tight bond industry.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
The one, even though they're part of a larger industry, and it's just this product.
The Twitch froze and I refreshed the page and it is working now, but I did not hear the correction of my last punctuation errors.
Had to save 4 cents, so if I ever loose my common sense, I had one more pair. Oh, okay.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's a little fun. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's free.
Yeah, it's definitely
Free, fun, and flirty.
Don't apologize.
The 3 F's.
Yes.
Oh, dudes. Oh, man.
Are you tutoring a child?
No.
Yo, it's 9:38. Did you know that?
Yeah, no, I just had to remember to... What do I have to remember to do? I don't remember... Oh, I have to write... Okay, that's right. 9:35.
Yeah. I don't know if we should do this.
I mean, it's up to you, man.
It's actually...
It's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Right, should we just call it a night?
Yeah.
Hey, Eric. Eric, we'll do this. Last question today.
We're calling this a night.
We're going to call that is a knight. A
Yes.
knight in shining armor. I don't even know if I come here for SAT anymore. I come here for laughs. You like it when we laugh?
There you go.
Nah. Improbable events. Oh my gosh. There's so many things going on. If I want to put questions in the Discord, do I link the website or post a pic? Post a pic. It's easier for us.
Yes. You know what? Why don't if you have a question and you just got here, then we'll do Eric's question and then we'll do your question. So post your pic in the Discord.
Yeah.
Which is down there.
Okay.
And
You want to do this one?
Yes, I will do this.
Very
one.
good.
Okay.
This is exponent stuff. So recognition is important in all the sections. Yes, I always say that. Don't forget it. It's very important. That's why I say it. Okay, so we see exponents. We see this equation. Lovely. We see this equation. Lovely. We have two equations. Sorry, this is not an equation. This is just an expression. They want us to evaluate it to here, something like this. Impossible. So what we have to do, what we need to recognize here is we have exponents and different bases. This is something that you probably didn't learn in math, because why would you learn it? We're going to do change of base stuff. Now I'm going to do some very basic stuff. If we have 2 to the x power equals 2 to the 10th power, what is x? It's 10, right? We know that this would mean that x is 10. And that's because the bases are the same. So if you're raising 2 to some power and then 2 to 10, of course that some power will be 10 so that this thing can make sense, right? So what if we have 4 to the x power equals 2 to the 10th power? Well, now we have a slightly different situation. X won't be 10 because the bases aren't the same. So we have to change the bases. Hey, Bird, Improbable Events posted it. Improbable Events, I feel like we've seen you before, just not in a while. Is that the case, or have you never been here before? Okay. Because we know that we want to get to something that looks like this, where we have the same bases, this is called a change of base problem. What we have to do is we have to make these bases the same. We can sort of reduce this 4 to something smaller so it has a base of 2. But we can't just make it smaller. We have to mess with this expression here to keep the same value but put stuff in the exponent. I'll show you what I mean. Instead of 4, we can write, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So we can write 2 to the 2 power to the x power equals 2 to the 10th power. Does that idea make sense? Because instead of writing 4, we've just replaced it with 2 squared. Because 2 squared is 4, right? So now we can use power rule. If you don't know your exponent rules, this problem will be very hard because you can't do it. So 2 squared to the x power is the same thing as 2 to the 2x power. Do you agree with me there? 2 to the 2x power, because when you have a power to a power, you multiply the powers together. So we have 2 to the 2x equals 2 to the 10. Now we know that because the bases are the same, we just let them fade away, and now we have 2x equals 10, so x equals 5. So starting here, we got to there. That's sort of what's going on here. It's the same concept of changing the bases. That's what you have to recognize. It doesn't just pop out at you, okay? You have
Surprise!
Yes. Sorry. You could feasibly plug in.
Plug it in, plug it in.
But let's not do that. So in this case, I'm going to use a little bit of pink. 8 to the x power. We want to reduce that to a 2. Now we have division here, so it's not like we're setting things equal to each other. But again, we're just looking for things 2 powers. So let's see what happens. 8 to the x power is the same thing as 2 cubed to the x power over 2 to the y power. That's the same thing as 2 to the 3x power over 2 to the y power. Now, quotient rule tells us that we are going to get 2, because you subtract the exponents, you get 2 to the 3x minus y power. Why does that work? Well, it doesn't work, but oh, look at that. They gave us something that really helps now. 3x minus y equals 12. So that means that it's the same thing as 2 to the 12th.
One sec. Improbable Events, I see the mistake that you made. You forgot when you foiled this and you multiplied these together, you got plus 2i or something like that. The i's in the middle are going to cancel out because it's going to be 1i and then minus 1i.
Yes.
And you end up with 1 minus I squared on the bottom. Let me know if there's any questions about that.
Difference of squares. So 2 to the 12th, there you go. Here's your answer. Okay? Now, it's not that you have to know that when you do that, you're going to get the 3x minus y equals 12. You plug it in and you'll get your answer. You don't have to know that. That's why recognition is so powerful. You're looking, you see this problem, you see, okay, I got an equation, sure,
and then I have to find this exponent stuff. I clearly can't solve this equation because there are two variables, but I have exponents. I see different bases, so that means change of base. I'll change my bases, do some stuff. I get 2 to the 3x minus y. Oh, I recognize that. I plug it in. I'm done.
I gotta go do something.
Huh?
I gotta go do something that's due before 10.
Got it.
You're good.
Okay. Ace. So your thing. Okay, so I'm going to answer Ace's question, and then while I'm doing that, Eric, let me know. You said this makes sense. Does all of this make sense now? And then improbable events. Does Brady's explanation make sense? Do you have any other questions on that? Okay, so that last. So if I read 2 chapters a day, I finish reading the book in 23 days. I would say don't say the word so, but that's not the end of the world. So if I read 2 chapters a day, then I will finish. You want to put it in future tense because past. So if you have present tense, if this, then this, you got to go from present tense to future tense. If I read 2 chapters a day, I will finish in 23 days, right? Because you are finishing in the future. So you have to do future tense. Good. Makes sense, Eric. I'm glad. My issue with doing these questions for you, and I'm happy to do them. I know you're learning. But what I don't like is that we're doing this question that's made change of base is new to you, and then you're not practicing it, and then we're doing something else that's new to you, and we're not practicing that. And it's not bad, but it's not as good. I like teaching and then practice and then checking in and more practice if necessary, that type of thing. But if it's helping, it's helping. Okay, very good. Improbable events. If you're back for a little while again now, are you just taking the ACT tomorrow or 2 days from now? Is that what's going on for you? Oh, okay. Good luck. Should I keep doing the practice tests on Khan Academy? Are they really good for a practice place? Depends on what you're talking about. So the full-length practice tests on Khan Academy are the official tests that the College Board puts out. The first one would be the test that's on our nerdish.com website. If they're just practice questions, yeah, do everything on Khan Academy. That's great. There are the official tests that have gone out and been proctored officially, because there are those 8 official practice tests, and those you can take whenever. But you want to definitely leave yourself some tests that you don't do practice questions from at different times, because you want some to be measuring sticks for your improvement. Improbable events. I did pretty well last time, but I need to improve my science. I did bad for some reason. Got it. Okay. Was the science bad because of time? Was it bad because of the passages were just really hard? Do you remember what the issue was for you? Ace, it said I need 3 sentences, descriptive paragraph, and I corrected it now. Is this right? If I read 2 chapters a day, the book is 46 chapters long, I will finish reading the book in 23 days. So does anybody else want to point out what's wrong with this? I think I'm going to point out what my issue is. You have, if I need 2 chapters a day. You don't have an independent clause. That's not a full sentence, because it's if I read 2 chapters a day, then something happens, because you say the word if, right? If I do this, something else has to occur. So you might say, if I read 2 chapters a day and the book is 46 chapters long, comma, I will finish reading the book in 23 days. I honestly don't know. I use the same strategy as one of you guys where I don't read the info until after. I think The convoluted scientific text just threw me off a little. Got it. Okay, so all the passages on the science section for the ACT follow the same structure. So there are the three different passage types. There's the conflicting viewpoints one, which is just, it's just if it needs 3 sentences, then you need to add more information. Just have more stuff that you're talking about. So improbable events. The ACT, and I gotta get off soon. The ACT is going to have the 3 different passage types. You have the conflicting viewpoints, which is just the text, right? And so so that you know consciously what's going on in those, they'll ask you questions about them, right? You don't have to read them beforehand, but they're all going to be set up the same way. They discuss the same topics, and they'll just say it does this, or I think it does this, or I think it does this, whatever it is, and then they'll be talking about those things in the same place in their own individual paragraph. So the first 2 lines are going to be about this topic for each of the scientists or the hypotheses or the students or whoever's giving those viewpoints. And then the next couple sentences will be about this other thing, and they'll all be talking about that in the same place. So be aware of that. The data representation ones, those are the ones with very little text, and it's just here's what's going on, and then here's all the tables and graphs and stuff like that. Those, very little text to go on. And then the research summaries have more text, and those have what's going on at the beginning, and then here's study 1 and what we did in that study, the description of the steps, and then the other ones as well. So I'm not sure where the issue comes in. What you want to be doing is the questions are everything, right? So the passage is there, it has the information, but they are convoluted, as you said, so you can't read and just get it because there's too much new stuff that's written in a way that's not necessarily easy to quickly understand and digest. So you want to be looking for specific things. Ideally, you're using the graphs and tables as much as possible because you can read through those and understand them more quickly than walls of text. So in the questions, they will give you information. Make sure you define everything in the question for yourself. That you should be able to find stuff relatively quickly. Remember, you're not necessarily looking to understand everything. You're looking to understand as little as possible and still be able to answer the question. So if they reference, let's say 20 degrees Fahrenheit, find it. You can find that and then read around it. I'm not sure. It's hard for me to know exactly why the convolutedness of it is a challenge for you. Okay, the book has 46 chapters, so I can read 2 chapters a day, so then I will be done in 23 days. Eric, that's probably fine for what Ace Chess is doing, but just so you know, for the SAT and ACT, that's not, because so is a coordinating conjunction. You can't just start a sentence with, so I can read 2 chapters a day, right? Because you would want that comma, so. It's not terrible, but that would probably never be an answer on the test. Okay, good. I'm glad it helps. Practice it a bit. I would say probably, I don't know how much studying you've been doing in the last couple of weeks for this test. My guess is not a ton, since you're here Thursday night. But I would recommend not killing yourself over the next 2 days, just hanging out, maybe doing a couple different passages. Don't worry about time, because you're going to be rushing on the ACT. You'll get it done. So don't time yourself, but practice understanding everything and having a very methodical approach. Yeah, okay, there you go. Okay, I do need to get off, but I will see some or all of you next time. Improbable, if you're not around, break a leg on the test. That's an acting thing. Good luck on the test. If you're a junior now, which is my guess, come back when in August and September, where we're doing more college application essay stuff. Come back before you write, because I think the most important part of that stuff is prepping before you write. If we're streaming tomorrow, it would be at 8. I need to talk to Brady about that. We're not sure. Okay, have a good night, everybody.